they're gonna text each other.
It wasn't that hard to figure out.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna take forever and it took
As soon as I
them.
moved, it took a second.
Yeah.
How are the meetings? Molly coming in.
Oh, really?
Did they have?
Sure, okay. And then, Kathy, if you don't mind sitting next to Edie, and she'll, get you to be in the audit area, since she has permission to be instructor. And then you can make a section, you can put your own in the audit area. Any work you have to do,
How's the italicized? I know, I got
See on the back, on the side there, see that hook on the side? That's gonna tighten it. What we'll talk about, you know, maybe the type of things that you do, you understand? So we'll see. Yeah, we can. Some things I'll have you do, and some you can do some of it.
The way she taught
See
it.
how it works. When, you know, what I'm saying?
Just like, go on.
So rather than, we'll see in terms of possibly programming and like that. And then you come in here, present to the classes. Next year, both of you, okay, so we're going to have to go here and then.
She said she was broadcasting.
Okay, welcome folks. Who do we have new? 1, 2, 3 new, who's never been here before. You've been here, right? You remember that? I remember that too, right? Even I remember. Okay, so we have 1, 2, and 3. Okay. And what is your name?
Pedro.
Pedro. And what is your major, Pedro?
It's entrepreneurship.
Entrepreneurship, okay. And have you had any work experience, Pedro?
No,
No? Okay. And where are you from?
from Brazil.
From Brazil, too. Okay. So why don't you do this? And you've been here before?
Yeah.
Right. You have your laptop?
Yep.
Okay, so bring your laptop, and why don't you have then Pedro sit with you, and then you can also put him in the audit area, make him as an additional student, right? And we'll have additional students here, and Madam, you've been taken care of here? Okay. And you want to introduce yourself? Okay, so entrepreneur seems to be a big thing now coming, okay. So we'll be entrepreneurs in this class. So let's do this. Today is Wednesday. And it's January 24th, 2018. And today we're going to be talking about collaboration. We'll also be talking about automation. And prediction, analytic, tools. Plus, we'll go over the assignment I gave to you. We'll get feedback from it, see what the issues were, what worked, what didn't work, because we always know what? That nothing ever works the way we plan it, but we're going to get feedback on it. And then I have 2 former students of mine, Eden and Jesse, who are going to help me this semester. They're both computer science majors, so it kind of blends with our whole technology that we do. And we'll also start talking about a big one that we talked about last time was blockchain. And we'll talk about crypto. Currency's a big one. We'll look at a number of ways that we'll do this. So first, I'll show you what I have. I want to, for our sake, I'm broadcasting and archiving. So I want to, I'm on YouTube now, and I'm going to go to the Creator Studio. And under Creator Studio, I'm going to go to live streaming. Get stuck here, huh? And events. And in events, I have upcoming. I'm going to go to the down here, and I have today 124, and I have something called Backtest 1.0 intro. And what do I need to start it? I'm going to start this Hangouts on Air. And I can have a group chat later on when we invite additional speakers. Maybe we'll have somebody then moderate our group chats, and we can also include someone to come in. I have a couple links. I have this link right up here that I can do participants, but also I have a link here. This link here is what? It's a YouTube link that anyone on the World Wide Web can view it. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share my entire screen and share. Right, I'm going to start broadcast and how do we know if it works? I'm gonna log into Blackboard, right? I'm logging in. And if I look at the courses, I've made a slight change here. You see here it says merge KX and KY. So I've merged these two for materials. I'm going to go into the KX and KY, go into course documents, and let me upload this, which is on a web link. And today is Wednesday, January 24, 2014. I'm going to put the URL, paste it, and submit. Now, how do we know that this works? How do we know this link works? What is your name?
Zach.
Zach. How do we know this works? Zach, you have a piece of paper?
Yeah.
Okay, let's make a roll, Zach. And in the roll, let's do the same thing we did last time. Put a title of our class on the top, and then put your name, email, and phone. Place yourself as number one. So how do we know this works? Well, Zach gets a piece of paper. Huh? How do we know it works?
You need to try it.
Yeah, so go ahead and try it. Everybody's gonna try it, right? And the whole thing is, if we can try it, what should we see? What do you see? Do we try it, and I can try it as well, right? Open, and I'm gonna open it even up in New England. We should try it. What do you see? Do we try it, and I can try it as well, right?
Wait,
So,
is it in course documents?
Yes.
did she find it?
Oh, wait.
Help her out. Tommy, help her out.
No, I know where it is.
Okay. Did she find it? Help her out.
It works.
It works, and now we can shut it down, but you can see the idea that we have our classes, it's delayed, right? So we can hear me in stereo. Okay? It's funny, okay, so we that was the humor of the day, okay. That was the joke of the day. And what I'm gonna be trying to do, later on, is this gonna be the entire, I'm broadcasting this entire lecture. So let me just close this.
Wait, so
Yeah.
that's gonna be up there every class, right?
I'm gonna try.
Okay.
Okay, here, this is, these phones are also broadcasting live to YouTube as well on a channel. Later on, we'll try to find out where these are. What's the difference between this broadcast live and the one that I'm doing now on my screen? You understand the question, Tommy?
One more time, the difference between.
The difference, I have 3 streams going. I have this Google Hangouts on air. Let me show you. I have this going. This is Google Hangouts on air YouTube going, and I'm broadcasting from this screen. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm broadcasting my screen. Whatever I do on my screen is being broadcast. What's the difference between that and these 2 phones? These 2 phones are broadcasting live too. What is your name?
Philippe.
Philippe. So do you want to look? Does it say something live there? What does it say?
It just says live.
It just says live, and what's it pointing to? What's
To
it
the
taking-
board.
To the board. So what's the difference?
Now when you're screencasting, so your desktop and.
I'm
this one.
screencasting the desktop and these are good. So why would you need one versus the other? For a business application, why have 2 ways to do this? I'm broadcasting my screen versus broadcasting up here. What's the difference?
Well, if you're teaching, we wanna see the teacher, and If anything happens with these, then you have backups.
I have backups, and also what? I'm not having the direct, only just the screen. If I'm writing on the board, I'm able to see writing on the board as well, so I have a number of backups. Questions? We're set? Okay, so I know that the broadcast, one of the things that I want to make sure that I teach you when we check each other is making sure that we check once, twice, and 3 times each other to make sure that they're working. Just because I have a URL doesn't mean that I'm broadcasting. It may be that my mic is off. You have to check each time. All right, we have that. The other part that I have, and this is going to record my entire, what was your name again?
Zane?
No.
Isabel?
Isabel. When you're asking me, this recording that I'm doing on my screen will record. I'm not going to stop. It's going to start from the beginning to the end of the class.
Okay.
If you want to review and you weren't able to be there, one of the problems that I see is sometimes you don't want to sit for the entire 2.5, 3 hours. You just want clips of almost sound bites. You can think about it. And what I'm thinking about is doing a screencasting program where I was just using this MSN Recorder Max. I asked you to find other screencasting programs, right? That when I have my screencasting program, and I can have other screencasting programs where you can even have my face here on the top, even a little bit smaller, right? That I can have my face here, and then I have a screencasting program here. And to record, what do I need to do, you think? Isabel, what do you think I need to do to record with the screencasting?
Just press record.
I'm pressing record, right? And now it tells me to do what?
Select a part of
Right, so I have to do full screen, I give it a file name, I can browse, and then I can record. And now it will then screencast my entire screen that I have. And let me go to my Blackboard again. And I'll go to my assignments. And we had available quiz chapter 1, and I'm also going to make available TG, which stands for what? Anybody know? Tech Guide. So you can put that, a note there. It's going to be in the book at the back of your book, and it's called Tech Guide number 1. I have 1 and I have 2. Now if I wanted to stop recording, what would I have to do, Isabel?
Stop.
Stop. And then it tells me what?
If you want to upload.
Upload to YouTube, and it would be doing this every time. So the beauty here is I could have small clips uploaded to YouTube, and what I want to do is on those small clips based on what I teach, then attach quiz questions to those clips. And my ideal in terms of research would be to have like a playlist. You take the quizzes, and only those questions you get wrong, review those clips. So instead of doing 40 hours of viewing it, right, it's boring enough being in a class and sitting 40 hours the first time. Most people don't want to sit another 40 hours, right? So it's the idea, it's almost making it refined. So that's my research. You could do that for other areas as well. Only give the end user those, it's basically on demand. Basically disruptive of learning, disruptive of education. Give me those clips where I'm having difficulties with. That's what, and I wanna automate that process, because I don't want every time to do this in the upload. You see here I have the username and password, share on website and upload. Notice when I say upload, and it says logging in, what happens here? Zach, what happened? Upload error. What had happened is, it doesn't work in this software, because what it had to be is, YouTube changed what they call the API. What's an API, Jesse?
An application interface.
An application interface to be able to use this program with YouTube, an application interface. Application program interface to do this. So I have two goals here I'm sharing with you. One goal is to automate the process, that I don't have to be sitting here clicking every time. And two, to be able to upload to YouTube automatically. So what I'm going to be looking for is to start off with, is some kind of macro recorder. One macro recorder that I know of is something called JIT-BIT. And what you can do is look for other macro recorders that will automate a number of tasks. Who knows VBA here for Excel? Anyone ever do Visual Basics for Application Automated? A lot of things that you do, you can basically automate those tasks together. So let me close this, say okay, then I know that there's an error here. I'm going to close this, right, that I didn't have the problems. Now I'm going to try to do the record, full screen, record, and then I'm going to record. I talked about quiz 1, which was due. Anybody tried quiz 1 already, right? Any problems with it? Oh, so you can see that we can do it online. So those of you that were not here, do quiz 1, and for next week, Tech Guide number 1, which is about hardware. And now if I want to stop, and I want to play it back, and then I'm going to record, I talked about quiz 1. You almost can't see which one is what, right? So I know that that works. Now what I'd like to do is try to find the program called, and this is what I wanted you to do, Jesse, is you can put another JIT-BIT macro recorder. And on JIT-BIT macro recorder, you guys can look at it. You can download it. You can download it for, I think, for 30 days or so, or even longer. I'm going to just show it in my folder here. You can see I had it before. I can set this up, and it will do my recording, and notice what it will do. It will record as I go along. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to agree. I'm going to say finish. And now I'm going to evaluate. And now I can record. And if you see here, you can have a help. And I'm going to record a new macro. And what this looks like in recording a new macro I want to highlight my recorder. I want to play record. I want to go to full screen. I want to record. And then I want to stop. What happens here on the screen? Jesse, what does this look like it's happening on the screen?
It's recording the ability.
Right, it's basically saying, hey, my mouse, where's my mouse going to be? The delays. I can add rules to it. Wait 10 seconds. Wait 30 seconds. So what would be nice, Jesse, is to create a macro that when I'm using this screencast, every, let's say, minute or every 2 minutes, it will close the macro, upload it to YouTube in the back, and then start a new clip. Because and think about it, you don't want the instructor to be busy every minute, stop, go, and if I want it every time, you can create a program then that all I would have to do is run the program, right? How would I run the program? I could do a play, or if I looked at it, I could just press Control P. You see here? Control P. And what would happen is the macro would run. Every time it would run. You see where my cursor is? It would run and run that automated program. Anybody here like now thinking about automation? Your automation of home, automating different devices, anything that's repetitive over and over again can be done by a macro recorder. So we can make that each time. And then it would be nice if I could get, since this MSN recorder doesn't do uploading to YouTube, find a recorder, a screencasting program that will also upload to YouTube in the background, and then it would be, as it's uploading to YouTube, then I would start a new clip again. Or we may do it at the end as a batch file, all the files put together, and then do an upload. And make it automatic, that it doesn't put a burden on the person that's instructing. And I don't need 10 other people to support me on that. And it's the same thing that you would do, is think about ways in which you could automate repetitive ways. So it's just like Excel. If you were investigating, you were telling me that you were investigating companies, you could write a program, right, that we would look for the same features for each company, and we could then create. So that's what my task to you for Jesse is to doing. So when you were asking is when you could take time on your own and then come back to me on the Monday and to see it. But find something. This is one I found of JitBit, but you can find others that you can see. And if I look at these others for even the help on it, see how I stopped on it? And you see here closed. You can see here how I can play. I can stop the recording. I can then even, at this point, I could then create another macro and create, each time I create another macro, just do Control P and it will do it each time. And then I can upload it and only have the small clips when I'm going to another topic area. Questions? Is that clear for you, Jesse? So basically, my idea is, one is even automate this, but first find a screencasting and then automate. And the ideal would be automating with a timer. Or if we can't, then at least when I'm in between, start simple and automate a simple task, and each time I do it, it just Control P rather than answering a number of keystrokes, reducing the keystrokes that I would have to do. What's your opinion on that?
Make a lot of money.
Right, and that's what we want. We wanna use the computers to do what? We wanna use the automation to make our life easier, not make it harder, not waste our time, and that's what the computer can do well. It can do redundant tasks a lot faster and a lot more efficient than me and you. And why waste my time, why waste your time to do laborious, boring tasks? What we wanna do is use your natural intelligence and later on, create the rules for a system to do it. Do you understand where I'm going? So that's what I wanted you to perfect each time. Okay? So, let's look at assignments. Let me go back to Blackboard. And I'll go to the audit area. Where's the roll? Is the roll going around? Where is it? So just, is everybody finished? Everybody
Yeah,
signed
I
up?
think I was
So
the
can
last
you
one.
bring it over or someone bring it
You
over?
signed?
Everybody signed up?
Thank you.
Did you sign? And the last person signed, bring it to me. Okay, so now let me go to the audit area of KY. Right? And I have KY. And what I added to KY as well is I added web links. So if you find interesting articles or software, you can put it in this section where you just go web links, and to build content, where should I go? Then I can just go to web link here. You can see that. I can put the name, the URL, and then you can put who submitted it and why is this an interesting article. So let's see here in terms of course document. I have my first, is this my first group of Peter, Vincent, and Dan?
Yeah.
Okay. So, can I go in?
Yeah.
So what can you tell me here?
So we did a screen recording using the QuickTime player, which is like automatically downloaded on a Mac when you buy it.
Uh-huh.
And then we did 2 other options, but we only did the recordings for QuickTime player because that's what you specified, but we just gave reasonings on why we thought that one was better than the other 2 options.
Okay, and what were the other, did you make a screencast of Jing?
What?
No,
I see your Jing. You just, did you make a recording of Jing?
No.
Okay, you just looked at it?
Yeah, because most of the like higher level screen recordings you have to pay for.
Okay, and Jing, did you have to pay for?
I believe so.
Okay, so check that out in QuickTime now. And where's your file? Your file, does it save it on the cloud or saves it on your own device?
It should be in that file.
We saved it to our own computer, uploaded it, it's in that link right there.
Okay, so it's linked there, and then I have the screencast,
Yeah.
okay. And then if I go back to the courses, and then if I go back here, what do we get in terms of the collaboration?
So we did Google Drive or Google
Okay.
Docs because it's really convenient for students to use that platform because anyone can work on it from any location, and it's also free, and if you don't have a Google account, it takes like 2 minutes to set one up, so that's like the best
Okay, so
option.
you use the Google Drive too, okay.
Yeah.
Now what about when you would be virtual, let's say you were in 3 different places?
You can do Google Drive with that.
Right. What about communication? How are you gonna communicate? You're gonna share your files with Google Drive, but how are you gonna communicate?
You could do Skype, you could do a phone call, text message, email.
So what I want you to go back and look for is software that you don't have to do a phone call,
Okay.
but the software allows you can do the Google Drive, but also will allow you, for instance, you wanna see one of your neighbors, you wanna see their screen. Or you want to be able to help them on a homework assignment, you want to work together, and then you want to record that session together.
Okay.
So Google Drive is great, and then we can use Dropbox, there's a number of ways that we can do that. Okay? Great, okay. So group 2, which is Josette, Mark, and John.
So, our other group member dropped.
Okay, so you have two, so take them off, right? You know that.
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
Okay,
do
you're
that.
gonna take them off, okay.
So we both did two separate, screencasting programs.
Okay,
I did the Screencast-O-Matic.
okay.
It was free, but it only allows you to record up to 15 minutes if you wanted
Okay,
to.
so did you put that in here?
I said
I would even put like bullet points here, pros and cons.
Well, I like took it as you wanted me to record and say
Yeah,
that,
right,
but I
but
would
also
rather
put
not
it here
put
as
it.
a server. Great, and put your name here too,
Okay.
that we know what you've done. And Mark, what did you use, QuickTime?
I did the QuickTime as well, because it was convenient as it was already downloaded
Okay.
and installed.
So then you can put Pedro in your group,
Perfect.
so you can just replace,
Okay.
search and replace, right? And then you can put them in the group once we stop, perfect. Okay. And then what did you do for the collaboration?
Oh, you did Zoom too.
Yeah, well, we did it separately, we ended up doing the same one. I guess,
Okay,
but
so what
But
I
Zoom
would,
honestly was like the best
It
one.
was super easy
okay,
to download.
so what I would do is bring in for next week, since there are three of you, do a Zoom.
Together, yeah, because we
Together.
weren't able to actually like,
Right, and that's the beauty is
Join.
when you can't meet together, set up a time to do Zoom. Yeah, Zoom has worked well with
and you can actually do a screencast.
you can do a
on Zoom.
screencast and you can do even phone calls, you can even do it. And like you were saying before, is you can even have somebody call in. You know, I don't have a computer and even have a, just call in from my phone.
And it like makes its own folder onto your computer,
Right.
so it's.
Yeah,
you
no,
go
it's very good.
automatically.
Have you used it before?
No.
It's the first time, so.
Yeah, I was just like amazed. And, like,
Okay, so great.
really
So at
cool
least
for-
we've learned something. That's what I love, right? Don't you? Okay, next, group three. What do I got? Luca, Zach, and Anu.
Yeah, I'll edit it.
Okay, so Anu's dropped. So we're gonna do search and replace at the end, you know what I mean? And we'll put Madeline in, okay? So that's fine. So what do we got? So the same thing. So who's screencast? You just put a screencast.
Yeah, that was mine. The first one was mine. We used QuickTime Play.
Okay. And then Zach, screencasting
Yeah.
tutorial for what?
We both use QuickTime.
Okay, so put just so a description and also put your name there. So we got it, so you get credit for it, that we can do it. And, okay, and then the collaboration tutorial, you use FaceTime?
Yeah, with QuickTime too.
Okay, and how many people can you do FaceTime with?
Two, but we only had two people in our group. so
Okay,
it's
now
super
you have
efficient.
three, so next week, what's your assignment? Find collaboration tools that you can do more than two.
For sure.
Right, and that it records, and that you can do screens, perfect. And that's the beauty, everybody see here, when we wanna make attempts, and then what we wanna do is each week, we want to improve. And there's something called, look it up here, there's something called agile development. And you have a clue on what agile development means? Jesse, you have an idea of what agile, everybody else look it up. We're not gonna just sit here, right? Look it up. If you're here with a computer, look it up. What do you got? Have you heard of that term, Jesse? Agile development? Okay. So who else found it?
Describes an approach to software development under which requirements and solutions evolve through the collaborative effort of self-organizing cross-functional teams and their customer and users.
Doesn't sound like us? Doesn't sound like life? So read it again, the first sentence.
So it describes an approach to software development.
Okay, so it's creating software development, just like we're gonna do. What else?
Under which requirements and solutions evolve through the collaborative effort.
Okay, so it's a collaborative effort. When you're gonna do it right, if you're gonna be able to do, how many entrepreneurs do I have here? Entrepreneurship, people wanna be entrepreneurs, right? Your first idea, you're gonna collaborate, usually not by yourself. You're gonna have an idea and it's gonna evolve. Like any type of solution, it's gonna evolve. And what else is it gonna be? What else does it say? You're on a roll.
Evolve through the collaborative effort of self-organizing cross-functional teams and their customer and users.
Right. It's evolving and it's solving a solution and it's short. Traditionally, the way IT and the information technology used to develop programs is they go to a user, let's say a user Eden, and say, Eden, give me what you want. What is your problem? And I'll go solve it. And 6 months later, I'll come back to Eden and I said, is this what you want? What's the problem with that? You'll go, what's the problem with that? You'll go, what's the problem with that? Coming back to her 6 months later. First of all, you may not even be in the companies after 6 months, number one. Number two, you're not giving your feedback all the time. It's almost like we're working together, right? And I talk to you one day and then I say, why didn't you do this? And I get back to you in 6 months. It's too late. Also, you're going down another road. My needs change. And what I thought I need, I don't need. So you want to do it evolving step by step. So the way we're doing it, just like we're doing it, is week by week, we're saying, this is our goal to collaborate. Now we got 2 people, but what do we really want is we want more. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, Madeline's going to be an entrepreneur. She's going to start out with maybe with 2 people, and then she's going to, if it's growing, you think she's only going to have 2 people in her company, she'll have more. Then she wants to reach out to her users. She probably want to have more than 1 user. You want to have many users, so you want to look for ways in which to do that software. So that's called agile development. Just like what we're going to be doing is every week I'll look at it and we'll go back the following week. We'll have a new assignment, but we'll also improve the first assignment. So just like I said, now we know we're going to, and part of this you can do already when I'm telling you, for instance, in terms of what you've uploaded, put your names to it. Okay, what's next? Course documents. Okay, so I have then Luca, now group 4 I have here, Isabel, Tommy, and Nicholas. Okay, so what do we got here?
The same.
The same, so screencasting
But he-
programs
yeah.
is what?
Yeah, I did MonoSnap.
Okay, MonoSnap, okay?
Free.
Pros is good. You know what, some of you may want to do this, this is not only for me, but it's for you. Later on you want to do you want to find out. It's nice to say, what are the pros, what are the cons, bullet points. Kind of easy, I can see free, I like Windows XP or Mac, which is good. Can upload straight to YouTube and other platforms. Highlight important details with pen. High private. Now when I upload straight to YouTube, it's when I save, or how do I upload? Did you try it?
Saving yes, but uploading no.
Can you try it for next time or even during now
Yeah.
to see if it works? And then cons, no video edit functionality, in-app, and this. So this may be good also for you, Jesse, is let's look at also for a screencast, because we really want it, an idea would be Windows and Mac. So see, in this case, this MonoSnap, put that in your notes then, Jesse, that maybe this can help us. Okay. And then what do I have? Isabel? Good. So people put their names here, and pros already installed, easy to use. Okay, so everybody used that. Okay, and the third person in my group is what?
Use Slack.
I did the collaboration.
Okay, but you didn't do screencast. Okay, so for next week, also do screencast.
Well, I think he screencasted.
I mean, yeah, I used other people.
Oh, okay. All right. So
I did both in one.
okay, both in one. Okay, so let me go back. So, Nico, let me go back to you. Collaborative tool. Okay, so you use video, Slack, okay?
And we did Google Hangouts.
Yeah.
And then Google Hangouts. Did you use Google Hangouts or Google Hangouts on air?
Or Google Hangouts what?
On air. Let me check.
No, Google Hangouts, and then we screencasted Google Hangouts.
Okay. So this is the
Used
question.
it with
Everybody?
my player.
Okay. There's something called Google Hangouts. And there's something else, Google Hangouts on air. What's the difference and who cares? You know?
One probably is live.
One I can broadcast. So Hangouts is I just have my group. I have my 3 people. I want to talk. We want to record. We can do it. Hangouts on air is I can invite other people in to be participating in it, up to 10 people. And then I can broadcast live where it's unlimited number of people can hear live. So if we had this class and I want to do, for instance, a blockchain, cryptocurrency guest speaker, we can have one speaker here, we can invite others from around the world to participate, and they say, hey, you know, that's such a hot area, let's open it up to everyone to hear. So that's the difference. It's not a problem, but we want to differentiate. Okay, so the Hangouts is going to be that it's a great collaborating tool. And what did you find, Nico, on Slack?
So yeah, I put the three main aspects of Slack, which is it makes communication easier because you can send like messages to the group and everyone receives it, or just direct messages. You can also post a document and write, for instance, edit paragraph number 2 and people see it and they can check it.
Okay.
And then also information is easier to find, like it doesn't, you know how in WhatsApp when you share, when you have a group, like you have to scroll up and stuff.
Yeah.
Here you can, it relates also to the third point, you can have, for instance, like different folders for finance, PT, marketing, so it doesn't get messy. And also.
And can you share your screen?
Sorry, what?
Can I see your screen in Slack?
I didn't check that.
So you want to check that? Because why is that going to be important?
Yeah, it could help a lot.
In our assignments, let's say give you an assignment on automated trading systems next week. And that software program that you actually have to download, you have problems with. And you say, here, share my screen, and be able to view it. So go back, everybody with the collaboration tool, and that's the problem with FaceTime too, is can I share my screen and can somebody then see my screen, make corrections to my screen in FaceTime?
What we found out is what you can do with the iPhones too, is you can actually have an iPhone and then show your screen like
Yeah,
that.
right.
Yeah, not as well, yeah.
No,
for sure.
but it's the thing, well, in FaceTime we know it. Each one can be used, it's nothing wrong, you know, millions of people use FaceTime for a reason. It's easy, I can communicate one-to-one, it's wonderful. But it's the idea when we're thinking about a group work situation, that's where I want you to emphasize, where we can collaborate in terms of groups. Okay? So look at Nico, and also Nico, see if what we can do with Slack. And maybe next week we can look at it together. We can do a little demo on Slack, because Slack is becoming quite prevalent. Okay, we got course documents. Where else do we need? So we got that. Any others?
Group 5.
Group 5, okay. So what I want to do is, Eden, I'm going to move you down. Okay, so we got the groups there, and I'll move you down. And then also, what we want to do is, at the break, we'll put Jesse in here too, so he can put his ideas in. Okay, so group 5. So what do we do in my group 5 here?
So manage screencasting program evaluation and collaboration program evaluation.
Okay, so we got the fly, and what is this? The second one?
Maybe the user to
Yeah, but so that's evaluated also in text.
Okay.
So basically in the attached files, besides doing just a link, do this, go to item. See, an item you can put the name in, and then you can put a text of pros and cons, so describe what you have. Because later on, even when I ask you, it's difficult to find out. So we want to make sure we document it, not only for ourselves, but for myself and also for others in the class. And Bandicam as well. So we want to add that. What else in terms of course documents? Let me go back to group 5. And what did you use for collaboration?
WeChat and
Okay, WeChat, and then do the same thing. So create an item, put in the name, and then just put in like this, just exactly like Tommy did a good job. in terms of pros, right? You've been with me before, Tommy, right? And we know, but it's easy, right? Pros and then the cons, you know, of disadvantage. And people can see it really fast and say, hey, these are different versions. And even what I don't want you to do is waste what you've done. You've already done the FaceTime, for instance, put the pros and the cons of it. Don't take it off, because you've already done it, but add additional ones to it. Okay? And those of you that have, that's the beauty here, we have the ads and the have-nots that we did here. So we have the tools. Let me go back now. Anything else I need to do? Any questions on what we did? How we doing? So if I have here so Peter, Vincent, and Dan, what are you going to do for next week then?
So we need to find a platform that allows you to not only like all work on a project at the same time, but also like be able to see their screen and like basically communicate at a higher level.
Yeah. Another one that you may want to look at is Teamviewer. Anybody familiar with that? Teamviewer is a German company, and you can see here what a lot of people use. They have a free version, and what's nice about Teamviewer is you can do remote desktop access. What does that mean? There you go.
Like for instance, if you're downloading something on your computer and you're outside and your computer's at home, you can monitor your computer, and it's funny because the mouse moves like automatically and remotely, and you can control your computer from outside just with your 3G connection.
And then we have, for instance, Madeline, you have, let's say Nico. Nico, where are you from? Monaco, right? Wouldn't you look at maybe you'll invite us. So anyways, in terms here, he's in Monaco, and then basically saying, I'm having problems here on my computer. What can he do is you can get him to take control over your computer as well. So it's built in, plus it does video recording. All of you may want to even view it as well. It's almost thinking about it, you know, like the guy with the toolkit. You know, that you have many toolkits and you say, hey, if this isn't it, you know what I need? I need a remote. I need to do remote transfer here. Let me do the remote, Nico, and then I can do the remote. And sometimes I'll just want to do a FaceTime. Let's do a FaceTime. But many times, hey, get onto my computer. This is where I'm getting stuck versus not just even sharing your screen. So this has been, and a lot of times, for instance, we're going to try to do, who's created a virtual machine before, right? A couple people's done a virtual machine, and who has not? And then I say, hey, I don't even know what to do. Then what we can basically do is have somebody get onto my computer, and this is where I'm getting stuck. Well, you're going to have to eliminate some files. You're going to have to do this. It's easy. It's like another tool. Isn't that great to have? So let's look at, that's another one. Zoom has gotten a lot of good reviews, right? You guys that did Zoom, it's just great. I was just on a conference call yesterday, and they were having Zoom. And then a couple weeks ago, we were installing a program called NinjaTrader.com. And what NinjaTrader is, it's a platform, it's a broker, but it's also a simulation environment to do backtesting and predictive findings. Its problem is that it only runs on Windows. Who has Macs here? Right? So many people have Macs. So the question is how am I going to run this program on my Macs? I have to create, one way is to get programs like Parallels or Boot Camp. Another way is to create a virtual machine inside your Mac computer. In order to do that, for instance, I need help. I can contact somebody in the class with Teamviewer, and they can install, help me with the virtual machine. So those of you that are thinking about it, we'll be able to look at this program, for instance, where we can simulate, and then we can train. Okay, so you can see all the programs we're using. Any other questions on that? Okay, so
Just I need a group.
You need a group. What is your name?
Gabriel Morales.
Okay, and is this the first time you're here, Gabriel?
Yeah.
Yeah, same for me.
What?
Same for me. I just enrolled in the class.
I need a group too.
And you need a group, we got
Yeah,
it?
we got it.
We got it. Okay, and your name again is?
Philip?
Philip. Philip was with me on Monday, so Philip can really lead in terms of this. What you're gonna need to be, Philip, you're gonna need to, just put yourself in the audit area, and maybe another student will be able to put you in the audit area, and then you can put them in the audit area.
I'm still in the audit area for the other class though.
Okay, so that's all right, you can leave yourself there, or you can delete it later on, but you wanna put yourself in the audit area of this class.
Okay, I might have to come up to you after class.
Yeah, or even we'll have the other video. Start with Nico. Nico can help you, because Nico has what role? He has instructor roles. He can put you in as a student, then elevate you to instructor, and then you can put these other two guys in. So Gabriel, what is your major and what's your background?
Right now my major is economics. I'm a double major. I'm on the side on my second major.
Okay,
I think it's gonna be finance.
okay. And, have you had work experience?
Yes, I've had 2 jobs. One in an advertising company
Uh-huh,
and the other in a education company in London,
in London. And where are you from?
Guatemala.
Guatemala, great, okay. And you wanna introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Felipe. I'm a finance major. I'm from Rio, Brazil.
Oh, another Brazilian, okay.
Yeah, and I had work experience in asset management for like 3 months
Okay,
back home.
okay, great. So we have an international class, isn't that great? I mean, it's just really and it's simulating really why we need collaboration tools, right? And why we need to be able to collaborate, and as we grow and as our needs change, things happen. So let's do this. Let's take a 5-minute break. Because it's long, you know what I mean? Let's do a 5-minute break, and then we'll decide on feedback on whether we should go straight through or take a 5-minute break. The only problem with the 5-minute break is it stretches more, and it's almost like when I used to run long distances, you know? If I stopped in the middle, then I didn't want to continue.
Why don't you just like end earlier?
I will, but let's just do a 5-minute break now, and then we'll end earlier tonight, and I'll help all the students with the class, okay? So we'll do both. So we'll stretch a little bit, those of you who need to go to the restroom, and then I'll go into what our assignments are for next week. We'll go into the topics, because it's a long time to sit, you know what I mean, for long periods of time. So I want to be able to get both of those. And then those groups together, those 3 people, we can put them in a group right now, and they can even sit with each other, okay? Yes.
So those like quizzes and test guides, those are due after class, right? Like,
Right now, I haven't put a due date on it.
alright, because I just did mine because I forgot to do it last night.
Right now, on the quizzes, I haven't put a due date, since you see, people are dropping, people are adding, and so forth. But usually what I like to do is, we'll decide is, right before class, it'll be due, that way you can ask me questions.
Alright.
But right now,
So next week it'll be like due at like 6:20.
yeah, right.
So the quiz isn't like,
What?
the quiz isn't like a thing. Like it's available, like I can.
Yeah,
watch it,
right, but everybody was just trying to just figure out what's happening in this class. And the idea for the quizzes is I'm using it more for you. Do you understand?
Yeah.
You can do it twice, it's open book, it's open notes, you can go on the internet. It's basically, are those certain topics for you? So I don't have to be so, I may not have to be so strict, hey, it's due 6:20 and that's it. You know, or I have some problems. So I may be later on almost giving you a guide, hey, do it now, so you can ask me questions on chapter 1, this was, I didn't understand. That's basically it. But that's more for you, don't you think so? And then you could do it twice. Okay, so who did we,
But then put in
you can put him with him.
Yes, before.
The before, so it's perfect. So why don't you sit together, so that way you can do it, and then you can, and that way everybody, and you know what the assignment is in terms of the screencast, and you can work with it.
I still couldn't figure, we were trying it.
What?
How to get me into this class.
Okay, let me just show you. No, look at it from here. I'm gonna go to, where do I wanna go to Blackboard, right? I'm in Blackboard. Let me go to the audit area, right? Now where do you wanna go? You wanna go to users, right? And in this case, find users to enroll.
Okay, I didn't see that one.
Right, and then you wanna browse, and then the user, you can go by username, you can go by first name, last name, and find them. And once they're there, you can put each person in your group, and then, I think they originally get a student, and then you will upgrade their stuff. So do that now, sit with them now. Okay? Did you understand that? Right, for the screencast, and then what the other one is, we'll see what we wanna do with, I'll show you what I wanna do, I wanna go into some cryptocurrency.
What we need to do?
We don't have to do anything right now?
Forecast cryptocurrency.
They're gonna add us to the same, like, we'll be able to access, I guess, whatever's going on.
So like each class we're gonna have
Okay,
an
so that's
assignment,
the
so
Ninja
we're
Trader.
gonna talk together through those.
And then there's something.
Yeah, I guess,
here,
but-
something called, for instance, we'll do some,
Kind of what?
what I wanna do is
Shouldn't be,
forecast some
shouldn't be too bad.
cryptocurrency.
Yeah, you're on bad, it's not good.
So,
They're not saying
one
what's supposed to mean once,
cryptocurrency is
one
called
class.
Yeah.
P-Toy,
It's long.
Yeah.
making healthcare patients secure, and what they have is these folks, have you heard about it? You've heard about blockchain and cryptocurrency. These are folks that have developed this idea, and let me just, about us, look at their team. This is their team. This is a company called Patientori in healthcare. And what this team is, look at the founders here. They don't look much, besides this Michael, right, the lead developer, a lot of these people don't look much older than you guys. And they've made millions of dollars already. And they've been in Atlanta, and what they've done is they've created cryptocurrency called P-Toy. And the P-Toy is already traded on the marketplace. And they created what they called an ICO. You know what an ICO is? People look up what ICO is.
Initial coin offering.
Right, they did an initial coin offering. And then if you look at P-Toy, right, here's the chart. Right, so you can see the market cap, and then if you look at this company here, Patientori, let me just zoom into Patientori, ICO. Right, warnings, they have some warnings here, whether they're legit or not in ratings, so they've created already. Patient offering net 7.2 million. And this was in June 2017. And they're thinking about electronic medical storage here on the tokens for sale. So we'll play around with some of these cryptocurrency coins and see if we can create models for forecasting and automate some of these forecasts. And if you're interested in terms of my Ninja Trader, let me just see here. I can, basically, it can generate code, plus I can write code to it. I can get strategies of writing code. We'll see if you're not without it. Okay. So that's what I wanted from you to do. So for Monday, to come up with ideas in terms of, you can present it in terms of screencasting programs, see if you can also do what, look at what, Tommy looked at too, and see if we can find one that will then upload, because the problem here is I can't upload to, they haven't, this program, MSN Recorder, they haven't updated this program, so when the API changed with YouTube, they didn't change the API. And be able, so what I'd be able to do is I could do then, Control P, and then it would then play the macro, do it each time, and then when I wanted to do it again, have small clips rather than large 2.5 hour clips. See how my hands are up, hands free, and it was me doing nothing up my sleeve. So this is kind of like an automated recording. Okay, so did you get these guys?
Yeah, I'm working on it right now.
Okay. So you got these guys then, you're able to put them on. And those of you that have, we want to update, we're having people come in the class, out of the class. People were asking me about the quizzes and the due dates. I'm leaving that for right now, I'm leaving it open. I assign, you can see which quizzes are available, and at least by the time we're in class, at least do one attempt. For if you're doing it. Now I put in TG of the hardware as well. Okay? Questions before we proceed? So, everybody kind of figured out what we need to get this to work. So this company is called Patientory. It's an easy way to securely store and manage health information in real time. And they call themselves the leading provider of blockchain solutions for healthcare. And then you can say, learn more. Patientory is a patient-centered enterprise solution designed to eliminate many of the pain points in the current centralized healthcare environments and allows health IT infrastructure to cope with the changing trends in healthcare management. And they say we use encrypted middleware. What's encrypted mean? Tommy, what's encrypted mean?
Similar to what, like, it's hidden, like you need a key
I
to.
It needs to, that it's not just plain text, right?
Yeah.
Encrypted to meet the high-bound APIs. What's an API?
Like where all the
Application program.
Interface. So I can have my program and other programmers can interact with it. Electronic records for fast medical information transfer and HIPAA compliant. What's HIPAA compliant? Look it up. HIPAA. What do we get? HIPAA. Did we get it, Isabel? Why not?
Health insurance.
Tired? What's HIPAA? What?
Health insurance portability and accountability act.
Right, health insurance, portability, accountability act. So it's basically by the United States saying there are certain rules for healthcare data. And they're going to protect that healthcare data. And blockchain technology for next week, put this in your notes. For next week, I want you to understand what blockchain technology is. Number one, what is it? What problems does it solve? And number 3, what are common applications? In a couple of weeks, in a couple of weeks, we're going to have a company come and present their solution for blockchain technologies. In the past, this has been written by programmers. And what they're developing here and in St. Petersburg, Russia, is a platform for non-programmers. So you can create your own rules to blockchain technologies without being a programmer. It will produce the code for you. Pretty interesting. And then you can think about, and maybe we'll think about it, is what are the problems with them. It's like my macro's going crazy, huh? So we'll see. Can you do me a favor and just get some paper towels? Jesse, before my screen goes crazy. Okay? Questions? Yes?
So number 3, by applications, you mean uses, right? Not
Uses,
programs.
yeah.
Okay.
Uses too. What are common ones and what are going to be in the future? Questions? Who's heard of blockchain technology before? So what do we know about it, Zach? You know anything about it or just heard about it?
It kinda confuses me.
Okay, good. Okay.
I heard a
Isabel,
good-
so what do you got?
I heard a good analogy that like blockchain is to cryptocurrency, like the internet is to Facebook.
Okay, but what is it?
So like it's
Can you have blockchain technology without cryptocurrency?
Yeah.
Right, you can have it
Can be
without.
used for security, for like a lot
Yeah.
of things.
Okay, so what I want you to do, okay, and who's in your group?
Him and Nicola.
Okay, so why don't we do this, for next week, we'll have you leading the discussion,
Me?
your group.
Oh.
Your group in terms of blockchain, and everybody be prepared here, but we'll be able here to think about it, thank you so much. We'll be able to, deal with it, to do it, because we're gonna see it just like, and that is correct, Isabel, we can think about it, is this blockchain technology and this cryptocurrency is gonna be a new way for companies to use it. And it basically is a way, there's security that you're able to do, and one of the problems with healthcare, Tommy, is what? That the data has to be secure. So people are looking for methods to get that data secure.
Private.
What?
And like private.
And private, right. Now there's a problem with that private, and what's the problem with the private? Is people think what? Money launderers, anybody hear about them? Right? Money launderers, criminals, right? Anybody hear about Manafort? Nobody heard about Manafort? He's indicted by Mueller. Anybody hear about Mueller? Anybody hear about Trump? Anybody know that name before? Anybody hear that, right? We've all heard about that name, Trump. Well, basically they think that the Russians, right? Anybody about to hear about Russians? The Russians interfered in our election, and basically once they start doing the investigation, Mueller now used to be the head of the FBI, has become this private, has been assigned a special prosecutor. And what Mueller did is he found this guy called Manafort that used to be the campaign manager for Trump. And anybody know who he used to work for? He used to work in Ukraine. And Ukraine, basically, they said to him, listen, and guess what? Once they did investigations, what did they find? They found bank accounts in Cyprus. What's Cyprus known for? Setting up what they call shell companies. Anybody know what a shell company is? Put that in your notes now. A shell company is setting up a company with name. Look it up right now. Look up what is
Like
a
a
shell
ghost
company.
company?
It's like, look up shell companies. Shell, S-H-E-L-L, shell companies. What's nice about this class is we can learn beyond, we just have to have, I feel like I need to be with you for, hours and hours, because we really need to get a full picture, of what's happening in this world. What's a shell company? What did you find with it?
It's like a fake business.
What does it say?
Shell corporation is a corporation without active business operations or significant assets.
Right, so why would, no significant assets, it's a shell, just like the shell, there's nothing in it. Think about it as a shell, there's nothing, why would you wanna set something up like that?
For illegal activities.
Transfer money.
Transferring money, and basically what they do, I say sell, now shell companies can be used for other purposes. They don't have to be for illegal purposes, but illegal purposes use shell companies. You understand? Shell companies can be used legitimately, because if I want to be, for instance, quickly listed in the stock market, I may take a shell company that is already registered, and then I'll put my real company within that shell. Do you understand? But shell companies, if I want to just transfer money between different companies, and it'd be hard to find who are the actual owners of those companies, I use shell companies. So they found Manafort had many accounts, shell companies, in Cyprus. Why do you think he had it? In order to money launder a lot of, supposedly to money launder possibility, money from Ukraine, from Russia, that whole area. Where do? They go and buy real estate, they go and buy other businesses, right, to have these shady deals. They found this out. How do I know this? I don't know Manafort. I'm the hole in the wall. How do I know this? Because they've already found out about this. They weren't using cryptocurrency. Had they used more the cryptocurrency, it may have been harder to find who are these people associated to these accounts. So what I'd like to do, and what we'll do for next week, is we'll start beginning to try to understand what's happening about blockchain and what they call ICOs, put that in your notes, and cryptocurrencies. So let me just change here, let me go into this computer. PC. You see this? And in my regular PC, I'm going to go to courses, Miami.edu. And I'm going to log in. Let me put my username. I'm going to take off my caps. And I want to go online. And now I'm logged in, right? And where do I want to go? I want to go to my merged. And in my merged, if you go to your web links, everybody go to the web links. And if I go to the bottom of my web links, have a number of links here. By the way, there's Data Privacy Day at UM on February 7th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. It's free, and they have a security service, Secret Service security expert coming to UM about the learn from our keynote speaker about the emerging cyber trends and threats, followed by a panel regarding privacy online by UM top security professionals. So this is something that I just wanted to let you know. Those of you that are interested can sign up, and that's on this Data Privacy Day, February 7th, that you can see there. And then look at this. Why the IRS fears Bitcoin. Everybody know the New York Times? Why the IRS fears Bitcoin. Cyber currencies could lead to a significant losses in tax revenue. Why? Isabel, why do you think that?
Because there's no regulation.
And what else? I
It's
click
not
into
like
it.
monetary policy.
The extraordinary rise, right? Everybody was worried about it being a bubble, but basically what it comes to be, you can see about it, is that, look at this, blockchain technologies, see here, can make it difficult for the IRS to tax cyber crypto trading profits. And it's interesting if basically the IRS understands this. This is why it's been pushing back to break the anonymity of cyber cryptocurrencies. In November, it persuaded a federal judge to order Coinbase, that's another coin, a popular Bitcoin exchange, to reveal the identity of customers for more than 14,000 accounts, representing 9 million transactions. So it would be interesting for you to, you can see this in the New York Times, how everybody's gonna say, what are the pros and the cons? These are, depending on who you are, these are approaches here for tougher approaches, and what they're concluding in this article is maybe it won't be paying taxes directly to the IRS, but they may say we may want to use what they call a VAT. Anybody know what a VAT is? VAT? VAT. And what do I want from you? If I say VAT, what do I want? What's a VAT?
Value-added tax.
Value-added tax. So what does that mean?
It's a consumption tax based on a product whenever it's added at a stage of production and it's when it's resale.
Right. So if I'm a drug dealer, right, and I buy my Ferrari or my other car, and I don't claim that I made any money, right, and you see him in the car, we know we're not going to get money from him because he's doing the cryptocurrency. What are we going to say? Is when is he going to pay that tax? When he buys a car. When he buys a car, the value is going to be added, and as it's going through the production, then it's added that tax to there rather than reporting my revenues. Because you can do a lot of nice, you can read this article, you can do a lot of nice shenanigans on these. Okay? So that was one that I wanted you to see on the web links. And then, under the course documents, you have the PPT, which is the PowerPoints, and let me just see here. You have the chapters. I'll put up different PowerPoints for you. Let me just open one up. Let's see what this looks like. And there's a lot of, those first chapters aren't, kind of give you just an overview. And as I said, what did I say last time? I know you can read just as well as I can read. And they start talking about MIS. MIS is Managing Information Resources, and how basically, traditionally, MIS, or the IT function, was the idea that they were able to develop an infrastructure, develop staffing, managing systems of development of computer programs, but lately they've changed their role, and their new functions are more digital in nature. It's basically initiating and designing specific strategies for information systems. It's basically saying, I gotta manage my internet, my intranets. I have to educate my non-MIS staff about IT, and I have to educate my MIS staff about business. And this is what you need to distinguish yourself from data, information, and knowledge. And you'll see what the trend is what we call big data. Anybody hear about it? It's called big data, data analytics. That basically I have large amounts of data. That's not a problem. What's the problem is making sense out of it. What's the problem is finding patterns to that data. And that's where the goal is, and you can see that a number of companies will be turning to this data analytics. What type of companies deal with data analytics that you know? Think about companies you know. What kind of companies? Nico?
Facebook.
Facebook. What do they want to do with the data?
They want to make sense of it,
They want to make a sense of it for what purpose?
so they can sell it.
So they can basically sell to specific users that will make sense. Who else uses your data?
Google.
Google for what?
Search engine optimization.
Search engine optimization. Think about all the searches to make those searches relevant. What else?
Amazon,
Amazon for what?
buying habits.
Buying habits, right? Have you ever bought anything from Amazon? What do? I recommend that those people that bought this product buy the other product. And think about now, Amazon. Anybody have an Amazon, like Amazon Home, where I can speak to Alexa, right? And then what are they doing with Alexa? Is basically doing what? Gathering more data to do what? Sell you more. Who else? Google. Think about the autonomous cars now. They're going to be getting, think about anybody ever use Waze, right? Waze is gathering that data, and think about autonomous cars now, they're going to be able to do it. Think about my financial data, think about the stock market data. Trying to find patterns to that data. There's not any area now that they're trying to do that. So that's going to be the area of these components where they talk about hardware, software, database, networks, procedures, and people. The key here is really now about that data and the data analytics, and that blockchain is basically saying, okay, I have all this data, how am I going to secure it? And many times you're going to bypass a number of companies. So that is the key in types of computer capabilities. As I said, there's functional areas. So you can think about, they call it FAIS. It's basically functional areas of systems, and this is changing. Because when you think about marketing in the past, how is marketing being disrupted? Who's a marketing major? Do I have any marketing majors? How is marketing different today than it was 10 years ago? The internet, digital, social media. It's completely, and what, do I have data in social media? Of course. Do I see trends in social media? Yes. Do I want to get closer to my customer quicker? That's the whole idea. I want to reach out to my customer. Do I want to reach out to my suppliers? This is the key here, that all of this is changing. And even in finance, you can think about, there's something called now fintech. Who's my finance majors, right? That whole idea of finance now, it's been taken, then I'm going to do rule-based. I'm going to have something called artificial intelligence and deep learning, that the computer's going to start to get more deep and trying to even do face recognition, videos. One thing, it's hard to find videos. Text is pretty easy, but what about videos? Now it's going to be difficult. Now, I noticed, remember I told you I was at the Consumer Electronics Conference, what they're doing now for glasses, for the blind. Not only am I going to be able for the blind to read what's around them, and depending on what language it is, but I'm also going to be able to now discover faces and emotions. So there's even an area called emotive psychology, where they'll be able to see whether somebody's smiling, somebody's happy. They're now trying to do on age, basically on type, in order to sell you what? For marketing purposes. So this whole area, and even in the blockchain, in terms of accounting, they're not going to have those regular accountants. So I'm going to have it internationally, but I'm going to do it as well. The other one that's going to be important, this is what I want to spend the time with, is just going over simple things that you understand. This slide, probably, you should look at. Here I have, on the bottom, I have what they call IT components. What's an IT components are what we call hardware, software, a database, a network, procedures, and people. And you can see above that I have IT personnel, and above that I have IT services. That's going to be what they call overseeing my security and risk. Now, because everything's digital, what am I worried about? I'm worried about risk. If I'm worried about risk, there's something called ransomware. Anybody know what ransomware is?
I'll look it up.
Good idea. What do we got? Ransomware. What do we find? Who finds it first can get the keys to the Mercedes. It's in the parking lot. I have it. Yes.
It's a type of like malware that holds your information and stores it. Like they say they're going to sell it if you don't do something.
Basically, it's very prevalent in the hospital area. Hospitals have notoriously weak security. So what do? My hackers go in, grab the server, and take it hostage. You know, have you ever heard about taking ransom, somebody kidnaps somebody? Call your parents and say, I got you, Zach. And what happens? I need ransom, give me that, $100,000, put it under the tree, and you can have Zach back, right? So this way, instead of having Zach back, you can have your computer back so you can do surgery in the morning. And guess what kind of money do they want? Do they want dollars? They want yuan? They want pesos? What do they want? Cryptocurrency. Give it to me in Bitcoin. All right, too expensive. You'd be loaded, right? So it depends on what day. If it went down that day, or it depends if I ask for it in December or ask for it in January. Different price, right? So basically, it depends when I want it. So basically, it's that idea of that ransomware. So now everybody's freaked out, right? They're freaked out about getting not only ransomware, getting hacked. There's a number of stories out there for companies being hacked. How are they going to be dealing with that? How are you going to secure what you have? So this is a whole area on those services. They have something called transaction processing systems. We call it TPS. It's basically, have anybody ever gone to a grocery store, Publix, right? Every time they swipe, that's a transaction. That's transaction processing systems. And then they talked about before, enterprise, that's kind of like, think about the company, is how am I going to plan all my resources? And here I have it, where we talk about, I have accounting, finance, I have production, I have then marketing, and I have human resources. This is all changing now via digital media that we'll talk about. And then on the top here, now I want to be intelligent. I just don't want report of how much I've sold, but give me new information here, give me areas in which I can do business and be more, and give me a dashboard of how am I doing right now, not 3 months ago. So this, I would say, is kind of the key of this one. What's here? Here, basically, the good thing about blockchain is going to be along this whole area in which we can do it, business to business. But here you can see B2B means I'm going to do business on the internet or online, business to business. Here I'm going to do my payments, my digital payments. Here everything's moving digitally, of course. It's not that important. What else? I think, and here, how does it impact? You can read this on your own, right? I don't know if I'm going with it. So this is for. So what's the assignment for next week? Isabel, what's the assignment?
Blockchain for me.
Blockchain for everybody, but you're going to lead it, not only for you. So everybody basically has to research and find kind of, there's a lot of videos, go to YouTube, kind of explaining blockchain for dummies. Not, I'm insulting anybody, right? But basically blockchain's for the for the novice or whatever. Why do I need this? Basically, when you're conversing here, when we're going to have our guest speakers, that I don't want them starting with the very beginning. Why waste our time where we can get it on our own? Let's find interesting things that are beyond what we have. So we need to be prepared. So I want to figure out here what it is, what's it going to be, what problem does it solve besides, you know, dealing with criminals, but basically what's behind this, and what kind of uses can I do, and then you can even think about it, or what are the pros. We're on like the, basically on the very, very beginning. You know, on the cusp, and you can see about it, it's flourishing around the world. And there are a lot of companies now out there that are trying to get it. Anybody wants to invest in money, if you have the word blockchain in there, and everybody's asking, you have a white paper involved in it, and you can even look a little bit at areas that you're interested in. So for instance, if Tommy was interested in healthcare, see what are they doing, something like that Patientorian over, what are they doing in healthcare? And maybe even you can think about where you're going to go next, what are we going to be doing in that blockchain? Or in finance, of course, or in any type of thing where I need to have what they, a lot of times, what they'll call smart contracts. I can put the rules in. There's lawyers now that are just dealing with blockchain. Any field now, they're just thinking about a blockchain and how I can commit education each time to be able to assure that to happen. Okay? So how are we doing in terms of groups? So I got my group. You got now your new group. So everybody has their groups. And what else are we going to do? So we're going to do the blockchain. What else?
The quiz, Teamviewer.
So if you haven't done chapter 1, some people got chapter 1 and TG1, which is the hardware. What else?
Fix up the.
And go back and fix up and look for new ways in terms of what, doing collaboration tools. What are the pros and cons that we can do? And also in screencasting, and see if I can do those screencasting. And then you know on your end on terms, and then we'll see on what we can automate. And after that, then we'll start, maybe next week, then we'll start looking at some ways in doing forecasting and prediction. We'll look at what's behind, looking some automated tools to forecast, for instance, maybe in terms of finance, in terms of securities, maybe we'll look at some of those coins and how we can forecast, because it's so wild, right? Is there ways to do it and how we can look at it? And I'm not encouraging anybody to invest on your own, we'll do like simulations. We'll be able to do that, okay? So, I think everybody looks exhausted. Okay? So we'll do that, yes.
We should do quiz 2 with the test guide before class next time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Finish it up and then come up with me and ask me questions. That first chapter is so simple, there's nothing for me to.
So do both quizzes?
No, but quiz 1
And teacher.
and TJ will get it out of the way. I want everybody to have the foundations and we can get into more juicy stuff. Okay? And everybody stay well. You know what I mean? There's like a lot of this talk and switch around. Okay, so what's the problem? Are you, do you have anything? Do you have your report? Are you listed? Did you get the black one? Did you get your? You have the black one, okay, so let's go to, where it goes, K, KY, right? KY. And now, you want to go with can you be behind it and, stop the phone and everything? How, black one, and then find you.
Swedish fish.
Let's do that.